Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, Member of Parliament for Banda. Almost 2 hours there, quite intense, very informative if you ask me. Samir Yafe is here in the studio with me. Samir, quickly let me pick your thoughts on the vetting of Ahmed Ibrahim. He is heading to a ministry where a lot of responsibility will be placed on his shoulder regarding the local governance itself, and of course the addition of chieftaincy and religious affairs to his ministry. What do you make of his vetting?
Well, it's been good so far. At least it's delivered. He has a better understanding of the ministry that he's heading to. He knows the ins and outs of this particular ministry, and as you just heard him say, time will come where he will rely on former ministers, to push through the agenda of the development of the country and the ministry. And the questions asked were fantastic questions. I was excited the questions posed by the immediate past deputy local government minister.
Yes. Martin James Sakosa.
Deputy, which
deputy.
is
Vincent.
About the election of MMDC, because it's been an issue for both the MPP and the NDC, and how they can move around it. And I was excited by his response. He said, fine, he agrees to the election of the MMDC, but as to make it partisan or not, that is the issue he really doesn't agree to. But then he gave several examples. But I've always been one person who has always held the view that we should stop the pretense. We know the assembly election is purely partisan. And we know political parties sponsor candidates to contest these elections. And so when you look at their posters and their billboards, the colors they display,
and this at the assembly level.
This at the assembly level, it simply tells you where the person is coming from. So I think we should cut the pretense and let partisan politics get involved in this. Another question which was very interesting is the administrator of the District Assembly Common Fund. He was asked whether the administrator should be accountable to him as a local government minister, because per the constitution and the provision that was given, is the president that appoints the administrator, and so the appointing authority should always be the accounting authority. And so if he wants the administrator to be accountable to the minister, I'm sure that we'll have to do some provisions or amendment to that particular clause. And before Bernard comes in, one issue I was excited about is the warning he gave MMDCs. That they shouldn't,
regarding the relationship with
members
MPs.
they shouldn't undermine members of parliament. From where he's coming from, 17 years as a member of parliament, he has all the experience you need to have, and he knows what happens on the ground when DCs and MCs want to contest you when it comes to election, and the sabotage here and there. So I'm okay with the responses he's given so far.
Bernard, before we go to the vetting of Ahmed Ibrahim, John Mahama has given us a final list. So the last batch of nominees.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
These are sector ministers.
11 sector ministers, and then 3 ministers of state.
3 regional.
And then 3 regional ministers. So you have 16 regional ministers now.
Yes.
23 plus 3. That's 26. 26 ministers of state. Plus the 16. So that's 52. I'll calculate it again.
26 plus 16.
So we have 12 ministers who were nominated. If you add this 11, that's 23. And then he adds another 3. So that's 26 sectoral ministers. Then you have 16 regional. So 16 regional. So that's 46. Because 26 plus 16 is 42. So he has space for 18 deputy ministers. So now,
but what of these ministers of state in charge of?
Let's take it one by one. So Minister for Defense nominee Dr. Ibrahim from the Eastern Region. Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation Samuel Natejo, MP for Ningo Greater Accra region. Ministry for Lands and Natural Resources Emmanuel Amakofibua, MP for Elembele, Western Region. Ministry for Sports and Recreation, Kofi Adams, MP for Buem, OT Region. Ministry for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Abdul Rashid Pelpo, MP for Wa Central, Upper West Region. Ministry for Health, Kwabena Minta Akando, MP for Joaboso, Western North Region.
Western
Ministry
North.
for Environment, Science and Technology, Ibrahim
Mutala
Mohammed, MP for Nanton, Tamale.
No, it's not Tamale.
So Tamale Central.
Tamale Central.
Tamale Central, Northern Region. Ministry for Transport, Joseph Bukari Nikpe. I suspect he's from the Northeast region, but I'll check. Please check for me. Joseph Bukari Nikpe. Ministry for Interior, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, MP for Aswase Ashanti region. Ministry for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, MP for North Tong, Volta region. Ministry for Works, Housing and Water Resources, Ajay Kenneth Gilbert from the Ashanti region. Ashanti region. Then we have 3 additional ministers. Minister of State in charge of Special Initiatives, Emmanuel Kwejo Ejekum. We'll find out where he's from. Sami will check for me. Emmanuel Kwejo Ejekum. Minister of State Government Communications, Felix Kwacho Fosu, Central Region. He's the acting government spokesperson. So this is interesting. He is Minister of State for Government Communications, not the same as Ministry of Communications, Digital Technology. So communications is not the same as government communications.
Yes.
Communications is a sector. Government communications is a function.
Yes.
So Felix is the Minister for Government Communications. Which is the function of communicating.
Exactly.
Samuel Joyce is the Minister for Communications, which is the sector, which is where all the technology we deal with come from. And finally,
Nikpe is Saboba. That's northern.
No, Saboba is
Saboba is in the northern region. It's not part of northeast.
Okay, Saboba is
in the northern region.
Wonderful. The Minister of State for Climate Change and Sustainability, Isifu Seidu. You can check for me as well. So we have 23 ministries and 23 minister nominees for the 23 ministries. I'll go through the list.
So Isifu Seidu is northeast. That's Nalerigu.
So it's been clarified. So you have 23 ministries. The 11 outstanding were defense, where Omanibo Ama is going, communication, digital technology innovation, Samonate George, lands and natural resources, Ama Kofi Bua, sports and recreation, Kofi Adams, employment, labor and employment, Rashid Pelpo, Upper West, health, Kwabena Mintakando, who was a ranking member on the health committee. So again, we'll come to the analysis shortly. Environment, science, technology and technology, Ibrahim Mutala, Tamale Central. Transport, Joseph Bukari Nikpe from where? Saboba, which is northern region. Interior, Muntaka Mubarak Mohammed, Asawase Ashanti. Foreign Affairs, Okujeto Ablakwa, who's Volta. Water Resources, Works and Housing, Gilbert Ajay Ashanti. Special Initiatives, Emmanuel Kojo Ajekum.
He's the MP for Nkranza South, so he's from the Bono area.
Bono East. Nkranza South, Bono East. Felix Kwacho Fosu, MP for AAK, Central Region. And then Climate Change and Sustainability, Isifu Seidu.
Isifu Seidu is Nalerigu, northeast.
Which is northeast. So then we finally, with the regional ministers, there are 3. We have Upper West posing Charles Luanga. Charles Luanga is an interesting name. It's the name of a historical Catholic priest. So Charles Luanga is an interesting name for a minister. Posing Upper West region. Bono is Joseph J. Akwabwa, Adai Akwabwa. And then Bono East, Francis Owusu Entry. So summarizing, 16 regional ministers nominated. 23 sector ministers nominated. 3 ministers of state nominated. So 26 plus 16, making the list 42. 18 deputy ministerial nominations expected to be brought in. Regional breakdown, very important. So I start from Upper West. The main nominee from Upper West is Rashid Pelpo, who is the Minister for Employment, Labor and Jobs. Upper East is the Attorney General in the person of
Dominic Ayene.
Now, Savannah is the Energy Minister. In the person of John Jinapo. Northern has 3. Harun Idrisu for Education. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed for Environment, Science and Technology. And then we have the
Saboba guy.
Transport is Joseph Bukari Nikpe from Saboba. Bono East now has 2 in the person of the nominee for trade and industry.
Yes, Elizabeth Ofusojai,
who will be vetted today. And then there's Emmanuel Kwejo-Ejekum, a Minister of State for Special Initiatives.
Yeah.
Then you have Bono itself is the nominee who just finished.
Yes. Ahmed Ibrahim.
He is
MP
the
for Banda.
nominee for Banda, going to regional, local government.
Local government, religious and chieftaincy affairs. Yeah.
Ahafo has Agric.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eric Opoku, who was vetted yesterday.
I'm still coming down. Now, Ashanti has two names. Water resources, Works, Housing and Water Resources.
Yes. Kenneth Gilbert. Yes.
Gilbert. Together with Muntaka
Mubarak,
who is the nominee for Interior.
Interior.
Eastern has two. George Opariado for Youth.
For youth and empowerment.
And Ibrahim for Defense. Then Oti has Kofi Adams, who's going for Sports. Volta has three. Okujeto Ablakwa for Foreign Affairs.
You have Governance.
We have Governance,
Kwame Abuja, Roads and Highways.
For tourism.
And then Abla Jifa Gomashi for tourism, culture and creative arts.
Then you come to Central Region, you have two. Finance Minister Kaselato Forsen.
And then Felix
So Minister of State for Communication, Government Communications. Yes. Felix Ofosu Kwachi or Kwachi Ofosu. Yeah. Then Western Region, we have two. Fisheries is the MP for Shama.
Yeah.
Yes. Arthur.
Emilia
Arthur.
Yes.
And then the man chairing the committee,
Kofi
Bua, who's the vice chair for lands. Western North has the nominee for health.
Health.
Muntaka. Greater Accra now has the next nominee to be vetted. Now Momolate, who is the nominee for gender,
children and social protection.
MP for Krowa. And then you have Samonate George,
communications.
MP for Ningo Pram, going for communications.
Digital technology and innovation.
So that, and then Northeast has Isifu Seidu, Minister of State for Climate Change and Sustainability. So, in all, President Mahama has 26 ministers of state, 16 regional ministers, with 3 of the 26 being ministers of state for functions, whereas the 23 are for sectors. So that's, I suspect that's what the chairman of the committee had to deal with, because you recognize that when in the vetting, he had to leave.
Yes.
Because the list has to be given to Parliament for some scheduling. So I'm sure that before today ends, they will probably schedule the vetting for.
And you notice that Apeniamakin also did not sit through the entire.
So this is where it was going. Last point before Sami comes in, I think the method is clear. 90% of these people are MPs.
Yes.
So with the exception of Dr. Ibrahim Boama, and Ajay Kenneth Gilbert and George Opari Ado. All these people who have been nominated for Minister of State are members of Parliament. So apart from Gilbert, Kenneth Ajay, apart from
Dr. Edward Omane-Boama, and then Pablo
George Opari Ado, all the 23 or so of them are all members of Parliament. Number 2, almost all of them were the ranking members of the committees that is relevant to the ministry. So Samonate George is the ranking member on communications. Was in Kwame Kando was a ranking member for health. Okujeto Ablakwa is a ranking member for foreign affairs. Muntaka, I believe, has been in the Interior Committee. I stand to be corrected. Mutala, I certainly know, was in trade. He probably was in environment as well. That can be confirmed. Rashid Pelpo has been in a number of committees. Sports will be one of them. He is an experienced person. Kofi Bua, we knew he was going to Lands, and he is the deputy majority leader. And then the ones that you can say are surprising, climate change and sustainability is interesting. Because there's already energy and green transition. Which in a way, green transition derives from climate change and sustainability. So I think it's quite interesting to have a minister for energy and green transition, and now have a minister for climate change. But in the literature, climate change and sustainability is so big that you probably need a ministry for that. We all understand what Felix Kwasi is doing.
Yes.
So he's already a minister of state.
Yeah.
The question is whether he will still be government spokesperson or just minister for government communications, which covers both the presidency and all of government. Interesting one is special initiatives.
Yeah.
Because we did not hear NDC talk about special initiatives in their manifesto.
No.
Special initiatives was a MPP creation.
Yeah.
So Akumsen. So I really would be interested to know what this special initiatives is about. But I'm not sure you can say you are extremely surprised by any of this. I think Omani Boama going to defense is interesting because when Akosua interviewed him on the day of
the inauguration,
he did indicate that he wasn't really interested
in any position.
Not in any position.
So Akosua pushed.
Yes.
Do you want to go back to where you were in communication? I don't think so. Do you want health? I've never been interested.
Yeah.
So he's given I'm not sure how that worked. Maybe he knew all along.
Right.
But you know, Omani Boama has been very close to the president. Yes. So it's interesting that 2 of the 3 who are non-MPs are from Eastern region.
Yeah.
Giorgio Pareado
and Omani Boama.
The fact that NDC has about 8 MPs from there notwithstanding, and you can see he's doing regional balance. Yeah. You can see he's trying to promote people who've been in the caucus, helping them in opposition for 8 years. And you can see he's also choosing people who are experienced in parliament.
Exactly.
Because none of the nominees I know is a first-time MP. Most of them are more than 1 term. Nate George is more than 1 term. Bua is multiple term.
At least there is Felix Kwasi is the first
time. Yes.
This is the first.
So this is Mahama's government forming. We'll put their photos up for you shortly.
Yeah.
So I don't know what some meetings before I come to the vetting, but I think it's very interesting.
It's a good nomination for me, and as I said previously,